Front of analog camera. Film advance is a mechanism for moving film from one spool to another incrementally, one frame at a time. Shutter. In photography, device through which the lens aperture of a camera is opened to admit light and thus expose the film. A lens is a tool used to bring light to a fixed focal point. Indicators of the duration timing at which the shutter curtain opens up and closes during an exposure process. Hot shoe is a mounting point on the top of the camera to attach flash unit and other compatible accessories. Lever is flip out the knob. Using the lever, the knob is spun, usually clockwise, and the film is rewound. The f-stop is the aperture, opening of a camera lens which allows lights to come in. Focusing ring. This is a section of the lens that rotates to allow the photographer to focus the image. Back of analog camera. Viewer to view you were going to capture. Film compartment for the storage of film that is needed for the photo. Camera back to avoid exposing the film compartment. The take-up spool pulls the film along so unexposed film can be placed behind the shutter. Rewind button, press to release your roll of film before rewinding the film back into the canister. Front of a digital camera. The purpose of a stereo microphone is to create a left and right audio image. The built-in AF Assist illuminator enables the camera to focus even when the subject is poorly lit. To stop the lens down to the selected aperture and preview depth of field during shooting, press and hold the PB button. A lens mount is a standard or proprietary interface used by camera and lens manufacturers to ensure a secure and accurate means for attaching a lens to a camera body. It is designed for settings that you want to have immediately without moving your hands and without having to take the camera away from the eye. Bracketing means that you capture a sequence of photos while changing your camera setting from shot to shot. Flash button. In any of the advanced exposure modes P, S, A, or M, this button will trigger the pop-up flash. Its location may vary from camera to camera, but the lightning bolt symbol is universal, so you will always be able to find it. The red mounting index marker has a corresponding marker on the lens and helps to align the lens to correct the mounting orientation. Lens release button. Press this button to unlock the lens mount and detach the lens by rotating it. Use the focus mode selector to choose how the camera focuses. Back of digital camera. Shutter speed is responsible for two particular things: changing the brightness of your photo and creating dramatic effects by either freezing action or blurring motion. Viewfinder is the part of camera used for composing and focusing the subject being photographed and viewing the entire frame of an image. Delete button to delete image. View button to view the captured photo. Menu button to select what you need to fix on the image. When you press the AEL button, the current exposure settings are fixed or locked so that they can't change as you recompose the shot, even if the level of light alters as you aim the camera elsewhere. Zoom button to zoom in or out. Thumbnails are reduced size version of pictures or video used to help in recognizing and organizing them, serving the same role for images as a normal index does for words. OK button. Press the OK button if the image you captured was OK and the settings you've been looking for. The AEL or AFL button stands for Auto Exposure Lock and Auto Focus Lock, and its primary function is to lock camera exposure or focus. It is extremely important to use exactly the same exposure from frame to frame in panoramic photography. For the purpose of focusing on a DSLR camera, pressing the AF on button has the same effect as pressing the shutter release button halfway. Command dial allows you to adjust shutter speed, and when the exposure compensation aperture button is held aperture. In menus, the multi-selector is used to scroll the menus and to open an upper or lower level menu. That lock the point is selected, you will not be able to change the selected point to a different one. Pressing this button brings up a set of functions on the camera's LCD screen which can be controlled directly. Press the live view button, the mirror will be raised and the view through the lens will be displayed in the camera monitor. Info button. While shooting, pressing the button will cycle through the camera various information displays.